Good evening, everyone. This is a call to order for the Bridgeport Public Education Monday, November 14th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Can we have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. We will have roll call.
Okay. Sybil Allen. Christine Baptiste Perez.
Present.
Albert Benahan. Present. Bobby Brown.
Present.
Erica Castillo.
Present.
Michael Macaron. Joseph Sokolovic.
Present.
John Weldon. And Joseph Lombard present.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 24th, 2022, regular public meeting.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 24th, 2022, regular meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. The next one would be October 31st, 2022, special meeting.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. At this moment, we will have student representative reports. So just turn on your mic, make sure to introduce yourself, and you can give your report if you have a report.
Hello, my name is Evan Arroyo. I'm the representative for BMA. BMA held its first school dance. It was a great success and students enjoyed the first school dance ever since COVID. BMA held its annual Veterans Breakfast. The drill team, color guard, and drum and bugle corps put on a fantastic event for our veterans. The open house for new students was held and had a great turnout. We are looking forward to hosting a student shadow day in January. During report card conferences next week, we will hold a Thanksgiving turkey raffle for BMA families. Major student concern remains the irregular temperatures in the building. Cadets and teachers struggle to stay comfortable and focus on temperature in the school building are not consistent.
Thank you. And we're going to turn to our student representatives that are online. If you could just introduce yourself and the school that you attend. I see Erica.
Hello, I'll go first then. My name is Erica Pinto. I'm representing Aquaculture Regional High School. We have a lot going on at Aquaculture as we head into Thanksgiving. Our food drive is currently underway, in which teachers collect cans from their students and design an aqua-themed structure as part of a competition. We will then be staging these canned goods in our conference room to support the Feed the People food pantry around the corner from our school. They will be distributing our donations as well as food pantry donations at Aqua on Tuesday, November 21st at 5 p.m. That same day, Angie's Fish Market will be open from 3 to 6 to distribute pre-orders before Thanksgiving. The Angie's Thanksgiving menu can be found on our website at bptaqua.org. Our report conferences will be concluding that afternoon as well at 3, a busy last day of business before Thanksgiving break. Also, our new floating classroom, the RVK Williams, has successful sea trials last week. The next step is for the Coast Guard to complete a stability test, after which we will be ready to take receipt of the boat. We anticipate an early mid-December arrival. On behalf of Aquaculture, we thank you all for continued support of our program and wish everyone a restful Thanksgiving.
Thank you for your report. We see a Lindsay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Mohammed, and I am representing the Aerospace and Hydrospace Engineering School. So we have had quite a few trips and events since the last time we met. From October 24th to the 31st, Arrow had their Spirit Week, which was quite the success with not only student participation, but staff involvement as well. We held our Pink Out on October 28th, and on that same day, students attended the play from the Mississippi Delta at the Westport Playhouse. Tickets and transportation were paid for by their educational foundation. We resumed our National Honor Society peer tutoring on November 1st, and on November 2nd, nearly 40 students attended the Aircraft Manufacturing Expo held in Hartford, Connecticut. Our students were amazing, and companies approached the staff to learn more about our school. They also asked about creating possible partnerships. On November 3rd, the PTO sponsored our college readiness night with colleges and speakers about financial aid and gave families the information and help that they needed. On November 9th, students had their trip to the University of Connecticut in stores, and on November 11th, students attended a virtual college workshop that was hosted by the AMBYESE with colleges such as UConn and Notre Dame. They also learned about the AMBYESE's Yes I Can College Prep program, and today on campus we had our Kindness Day. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. I believe I see Meehan. I could be incorrect. Meehan? Timothy?
No, not a student.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
I believe. No, that's us. That's us. All right, so just want to double check, is there any other student representatives online that I have missed? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward. At this moment, we're going to open up the floor for public comment. Please remember that you have 2 minutes, and there should be a sheet. I haven't received the sheet. If I haven't grabbed it, okay. Thank you. Thank you. With our first one is Ms. Dasha Spell.
Just want to say, if anything breaks, it wasn't me. Good evening. I'm Dasha Spell. I'm a Bridgeport parent and a part of the community as a whole. Today, I'm here to continue to reiterate the importance of having the facility meetings. This past Thursday, whatever day it was, I got a disturbing text message, phone blast, email about Bassick High School being let out early due to a suspicious spray being in the building. As a parent, once again, this is stuff that needs to be talked about in facilities. I brought this up beginning of the school year last year. Anything that happens within the buildings, as a parent, I would like to know. When it comes to my child's safety or any child's safety, when it comes to how you handle active shooter, bomb threats, and stuff like this. Because they send out this text message, but then you don't send one out stating, oh, we cleared it, it was non-threatening, the kids are coming back to school the next day. You can't send something out and not follow up. Because as a parent, that worries me. And right now, I'm in the process of going with my daughter looking at high schools. Bassick is in my district for right now. FYI, we still don't know what's going on with the Bassick project. We know that money's being spent. We know that it's going to the South End. I drive by the South End property a lot. I don't see people out there. And it's not fair to our students. Bassick is the last high school in this district that's being remodeled, and we haven't gotten anything, heard anything. And that's not fair to the kids. Yes, a lot of them won't be here to see it when it first opened. The first class may not see it for a while, but at least communicate with us on these projects that are going on because we want to know as a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spell. The next person is Ms. Ana Batista.
Good evening. My name is Anna Batista, and I have with me Maikia Stovall, my legislative chairperson, and Joseph DeGroat, high school vice president and urban intern. As BEA president, I have come again to address the board on the essential need for both transparency and BEA involvement in the search process for superintendent. As I indicated last time, my members were deeply disappointed by the exclusion of the BEA and therefore by the absence of irreplaceable teachers' input into the process in the search for an interim leader. Now, as the board moves from the interim search to the more involved and consequential search for a permanent district leader, we are once again calling for close BEA involvement in a process that is open, transparent, and inclusive. We are also calling on the board to make good on its earlier commitment to send out requests for proposals, the RFPs, and to do so as soon as possible for a search firm to conduct an independent national search for a superintendent with the necessary set of skills, experience, and qualities to lead this great school system for many years to come. On behalf of the nearly 1,500 teachers and related service providers in the district, we look forward to partnering with the Board of Education as you make this critical decision. Respectfully delivered. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baptista. Our next speaker is Ms. Gladder Walker-Jones.
Good evening. First of all, I want to congratulate our interim superintendent, Alicia Parham. Congratulations. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you with this heavy lift as much as possible, as best as possible. It's unfortunate that Chairman Weldon is not here because my response, what I like to say, is directly targeted to him. However, it's also directly targeted to you all as the board members. So I'll just read as I have it. Chairman John Weldon, in direct response to the letter sent to you on behalf of the Greater Bridgeport NAACP on September 8th, and to each of you members, Board of Ed members, regarding the secret meeting, the lack of community engagement, and qualifying expectations in our next superintendent. Chairman Weldon asked for trust, that we would trust him, and that we would afford him the additional time. Well, we extended a measure of trust, and we afforded the additional time. On October 31st, 2022, your last special meeting, where the public was permitted to be present and of course not speak, the veil has been lifted. So I agree with the board member's statement regarding that. It's a biblical phrase and it has present day meaning. Chairman Weldon, we cannot unsee or unhear the lack of moral and ethical leadership displayed. You pushed through and the board acted on an illegal motion as you were adamant to go against the elected Board of Ed members' wish for the next interim superintendent. There is no confidence in your leadership to right-size this school district. There is much too much work left undone by the former superintendent, who you provided a pass at the expense of scholars, staff, and our community. The organizational meeting during the first Board of Ed meeting in December needs to confirm we have a Board of Ed chair in place who knows how to facilitate meetings and one who is woke. Our public school system can no longer stand by and simply hope you awaken from your slumber. Please resign for the position of chair prior to the organizational meeting, and Board of Ed members who are here, I'm holding you accountable to see that we have a new chair in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker-Jones. Our next speaker is none other than Ms. Joanne Kennedy.
Good evening. The scripture says, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. I would like to speak in reference to what she just said. That was a deplorable meeting. We have to have culturally competent people in our district. If you are not culturally competent, if you do not plan to be culturally competent, then you need to leave the district. Whether you live here, whether you are a parent, a teacher, just a citizen, you just don't need to be in our city causing all kinds of confusion. And basically what we've been dealing with Mr. Weldon for the last few years just came out for everybody to see. Like they said, the veil has been lifted. Mr. Lombard was the one that said that. Now everybody knows what is happening, what has been happening. It's just a matter of being honest and true and open. These are all of our children. We don't care what color they are, but we know the majority of children here are Black and brown. So we need representation. We need representation. Representation in our district is very important. And I'd like to echo a lot of the things that Ms. Gladys said. Also, I would like to congratulate Ms. Perrin on her new position. I worked with her for 3 years over at Dunbar. I was a cheerleader coach, and she's a consummate professional. You will treat her right. You will not do what you did to others in the past. You know who you are. We have her back. As the community, as parents, as women, as African American people, we have her back. Don't mess with her. Let her do her job, and she will show you that she is amazing, because I believe it and a lot of people know it. And we are amazing people that can take care of our children, whoever they are here in the city of Bridgeport. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. At this moment, there is no chairman's report. The chairman is not here, so we'll move on to committee reports and referrals. Starting with ad hoc district-wide branding initiative. We have not met. We will meet December 1st at Central High School at 6:30. Any referrals? Hearing none. The next one is ad hoc district-wide calendar committee.
No, we have not met for about last 3 regular board meetings, and I'm thinking that the committee may possibly be disbanded.
Got
I
it.
have not heard one way or the other. That's why I haven't met.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Contracts committee, Oh, sorry. back referrals to calendar committee.
Yes, I would like to, we can talk and trying to see we can have in the calendar, talk about Veteran Day. So I know it's a holiday. It's something special, something very serious, about the whole world. So I don't know, we spoke, but I would like to bring you some information, discuss.
Just to can I respond?
You can.
I believe that there was a swap, Veterans Day and the day before Thanksgiving. So it was an intentional swap of days. And the other unions agreed, did the same thing. So we swapped that out, but that could always be reconsidered.
Yeah, I would like, have some information like to speak on, talk about that, if you even mind.
If the committee meets again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for right now, they're Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of Thanksgiving are off. And Thanksgiving and Veterans Day was not taken as a day off, only to be recognized in the classroom, but not as a day off.
Okay. Thank
you. Contracts committee, the chairman is not here to report on that. But are there any referrals that we could put for the record?
I have a referral. I would like to take a look back at the last probably 5-6 months of contracts, because we seem to have a couple of contracts coming. We seem to have a couple of contracts that coming through that should have been gone out to bid, which haven't gone out to bid, and that was signed off on. Some of the services even began on some of the contracts that are coming before us tonight, this is unacceptable to have happened, and it's unacceptable to keep continuing. So I would like to look back, see what else is on the table that's already been implemented, that has not been signed off on the board, that should have been.
I do want to make sure that I let anyone that's online speak. I'm sorry, I can't see you guys, but did anyone have any referrals for contracts?
No.
Okay. All right, hearing none, John will be aware of that. Education, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
We will be meeting the third Monday, which should be November 21st at 6:30 p.m. And we'll be discussing, just Joe, for you to know, your referral to look at staff demographics, including administrative staff. So that'll be next week, at Central High School, 6:30.
Thank you.
Any other referrals? Hearing none. Okay, we'll go next to Facilities Committee. Mr. Weldon is not here to report, but are there any referrals for facility that we could put on the record?
Yes, Ms. Brown, facility, we have around 3 or 4 months and we don't meet. You know, I'm part of the committee, everybody know that. And it's very important that Mr. John Weldon tried to always block not having this meeting. And I really sent him a long time ago what we wanted agenda because I need to speak about security, about the safety of the school. You see how you heard Ms. Pell, her concerns, and I'm worried about that. We all worry about the safety for all the students and staff and parents, everyone. So I just hope the next meeting, the last meeting we have here, he said in the first week around November, we're gonna have it. He never sent an email, nothing like that. I don't know what's going on. So if he cannot be running the facility meeting, have another person chair run the facility meeting, because like I said, we're going for 3 or 4 months, we don't have this meeting. It's a lot of discuss in facility meeting. So I just wanna let him, let him know. I know he's watching us, so we have to be on top.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, in deference to the public comment, definitely we need an update on Bassett High School.
Thank you. The next committee is the Finance Committee.
Finance has not met in the interim. However, our next meeting is actually going to be tomorrow at Central High School.
Any referrals for Finance? Thank you. The next one is Governance. Governance has not met, and that is Mr. Weldon's committee as well. So we will entertain anyone that has any referrals for.
Yes, I'm gonna repeat this once, not once, 3 times, I believe. We need to check the bylaws of the governance. I know we talk about this at the beginning. I know Mr. Warden say, oh, it's a lot to discuss, but for the time, I tell him to discuss and read the bylaws. I thought maybe now we just finish because there's a lot of things that are gonna change. It's a lot of things that are gonna change. It's about the chair cannot make all the decision about everything. That's why we have a vice president. That's why we have a secretary and we have board members. I know we here to each one of us, we can make decision, or we can take what we can do. Not only the chair make all the decision about everything. And I'm not agree with that. Us as a board member, we're supposed to work like a team, and it's the best thing for our children. Like I say, not only the chairperson have to take all responsibility. We have to take all responsibility. So I hope you understand that I really read the bylaws so many times, and us too, and we know the bylaws very clear. And I hope soon we can talk about how we can do updates and change some of the bylaws.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Any referrals, comments? Okay. The next committee is Health and Safety Committee.
Health and Safety Committee has not met in the interim. Currently, I'm reviewing our wellness policy and will establish a meeting hopefully sometime in December.
Thank you. Is there any referrals for Health and Safety? Hearing none. The next one is Personnel Committee. Mr. Weldon also chairs that. He's not here, but if there's any referrals for that committee, feel free to share your referrals.
Yes, Madam Chair. I have a referral. We've had a big turnover in administrative staff. I would like to see a new organizational chart for administrative staff, along with the roles and responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Lombard.
I don't know if there's something exists yet as far as organizational charts through HR. I know that that's an option with some software where it's live, it's updated as soon as someone's position changes. And so I don't know if our software has it already, or if it's something that could be incorporated. It's very helpful. At any moment you can log on and see the flow chart. So just to add that into there as referral as well.
Thank you. And those referrals are recorded for Mr. Weldon and for us to hold these for discussion. Students and Family Committee.
We're gonna meet November 17th, 6:30 in Central High School, but that's the only thing I can say. But right now, I know we started the meeting. I'm supposed to ask you a point of privilege, but I want to let you know that in my report right now, that last Saturday, We have a big event in Clay Memorial. It was called Connect Us. It was amazing how the students here from Bridgeport did amazing perform. When people say students from Bridgeport, they don't have to dance, sing, or present, it was amazing. Banu school did an amazing event that we was all there. Adapted, for arts. Thank you, Miss Henry and the PAC president. They did an amazing job. It was phenomenal. Library, we all know we was there. Thank you, Miss Harry, to enjoy with us. We do paint. It was amazing event. It's good for what we have in our community, the people that can go and come and have fun. One of the things that tonight, they start Elevate Bridgeport in Pasadena High School. Thanks to Mr. Eric Torres, he's doing amazing job. I know he's gonna keep doing amazing job. So we like to help them to promote that Elevate, the program Elevate for Bridgeport with Mr. Torres, and it was amazing. So I just want to say that, for the record, in my next meeting is going to be on November 17, 2022 in Central High School at 6:30. And by the way, Bassett High School is having the November 22nd, the big turkey events. We're going to have a talking about workshop about bullying. We're going to have amazing things, so everybody's welcome to go.
Thank you. Are there any other referrals for students and families?
I have a referral for students and families. It wouldn't be for this coming meeting. However, I had Community Life Solutions present their reset program during teaching and learning. And I think because it has a big aspect on students and family, I would like to refer that program to present at Mr. Benahan's Students and Families Committee meeting, the next one after this one in November.
Thank you, Ms. Christina. I will accept it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then our last committee report is teaching and learning.
So that goes full circle. The last meeting was on October 26, 2022. As mentioned, we had Community Life Solutions present their reset program proposal for Wilbur Cross School. We had a discussion. It's on the agenda today for High Horizons Magnet Field Trip. And then we had a very enlightening discussion regarding the use of, I want to make sure I state this correctly, but gender identity pronouns and students' personal preferences when it comes to pronouns. Although no action was taken, it was very enlightening to discuss what options we could take right now in the district.
Is that all, Ms. Baptiste Perez?
Yeah, sorry, I had to mute. I'm coughing, so.
Oh, okay,
yeah, that's it.
No worries. All right, thank you. Those are all of our committee reports. All of these committee reports are also online, so anyone that's in the public that would like to attend or be a part, you could definitely look them up online or talk to any of the committee chairs, and they'll be able to provide you information. The next one is the superintendent's report. We'll refer that to you, to interim superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to share some of the information that I've received since taking on the role of interim superintendent for Bridgeport. So one of the things that we're working on, there was a nursing department meeting held on the 11th of November. Really, the committee was working on discussing students who were waiting for a vaccine or physical and how we could get them into school. So what was determined at that meeting was as long as they were able to provide documentation of a scheduled appointment, students will be able to attend. So that was discussed on the November 11th meeting. Also, in regards to assessment, ELA writing assessments, grades 7 and 8, and they should be completed by November 22nd. So that's something that we are working on. We are engaged in progress monitoring for grades K-3 for Zipple's assessments, which were completed on 11/10 and 11/11. There will be 2 more sessions that will take place in the next few weeks as a way to provide data to assess program implementation and next steps. High school final exams. Our district is working on final exams for all high school math courses. Lead teachers from the high schools will meet on Thursday, November 17th to provide some feedback. Also, Khan Academy is sponsoring a special competition this winter titled 2022 Kanathlon. The competition will run from November 14th through January 6th, and all students in middle school and high school are entered to participate. There have been several skills that have been chosen to focus on during this. Trophies will be given to the top 3 schools, middle and high school, with the highest average skills mastered. All right, so we're encouraging schools with students in grades 6 to 12 to participate in this. The Office of Student Support will be holding a community resource event for students identified with school counselors that need extra support as well. There are weekly virtual SAT prep classes for sophomores and juniors every Tuesday until March 21st of 2023. It's a total of 22 occurrences. Middle school and ELA and social studies teachers have received training in the close reading strategies. We're working to implement close reading strategies in both ELA and social studies classrooms moving forward. Aspect Land Trust will be working with our TAG students at Winthrop to create pollination gardens for our scholars. The McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act is a federal law in place to support students who lack fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. In Bridgeport Public Schools, we are increasing awareness of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act by providing training and awareness within our district and community partners. The district will increase student identification and support to eliminate barriers of students to increase student attendance. Some of the things that we're looking to celebrate too, talented and gifted students created an operable robotic arm as part of their program of studies this year. 81% of our K-3 classrooms have implemented small group instruction to support the development of foundational reading skills. And BPS was the only opportunity district to reduce chronic absenteeism from September 2021 to June 2022. It was reduced from 33.3% to 27.8% as reported at the state. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up the floor for any board members who have any questions for you.
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate and welcome Ms. Parent to the position of interim superintendent.
Thank you.
I agree with it. Thinking back home, I hope we can make communication and together, because one reason, students, parents, and our staff are okay, and I will be, we working together as a team. Welcome. I understand it's not going to be easy, but I want you to understand that we're not here only as a 9-board member. Think that people say, "Oh, they are your boss." No, we are a team working together, and we're going to be here to help you, for you in anything we can do. We're just here. I just want to let you know for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, there is no old business to be transacted. We will move right into our new business, discussion and possible action to issue nationwide RFP for superintendent search consultant services.
Mr. Pyrus got
it. Mr. Pyrus, I believe, will be presenting on this.
Good evening, everyone, Madam Chair. This item was, frankly, I thought it would be going to committee instead of going to the full board. But since you have it, let me give you some history on how this was developed. This was basically the 2019 RFP as it was developed by the current board at the time. I was instructed to basically make some very minor changes in terms of dates and in terms of the composition of the selection committee, the evaluation committee of the RFP. It's basically an RFP that's soliciting the services of a firm to do a nationwide search. Typically, it goes out to bid, and we wait for the respondents. It's about a 6-week process from the time it gets posted till the time it gets returned. And the evaluation committee will take a look at all of the respondents and score it according to the criteria. And then eventually it'll come back to the board or to a committee to evaluate the selection. It'll be scored from, I guess, 1 to 5. That's assuming that 5 people would respond. And eventually the board will have a final say as to whether or not the committee did a good job or not, or they can just say, we don't like it, we don't like any of these people, and put it out to bid again. So that's basically the goal of the RFP, and we just try to go through the process. And I'll take any questions from you if you.
Yes, we'll open up the floor for discussion for anyone that has any questions concerning this. Mr. Sokolovich?
That's it. Mr. Pires, yeah. A couple of questions. On page 6, confidentiality of proposals. Do we necessarily have to keep the entire proposal confidential, or could we just keep the core? I understand keeping the core structure confidential.
Typically, firms that respond to these particular types of RFPs like to keep their proposals confidential because they have proprietary information there. They have competitive pricing, they have staffing information there that they don't like to divulge. But ultimately, it's your decision. If you want to remove it, you can. I just don't want it to be a cause for limiting the number of people that would respond.
Right, understood. This did go out last time, right, in 2019?
Yeah.
How many responses did we get?
We never issued it. It was never issued.
It was never issued, okay. When's the last time we issued an RFP for the superintendent? I know we interviewed firms. Wait, we were interviewing firms. We interviewed firms, Mr. Pires, that's right. Because I remember we were in the midst of interviewing firms. I don't think we got that many though.
We had three respondents. The last time we actually hired one was when we did before, I think it was during Mr. Esther Johnson's search.
Yeah, I think so.
We actually had we hired a firm, they did the search, and ultimately they chose Mr. Esther Johnson to become superintendent.
Right, and I remember that being a small one. Okay, so well, I do have concerns about it, but I'll withdraw that because we did have such a small turnout. I would not want to limit the pool any further. But okay, that being said, I got one more question about page 14.
Yeah.
The scores. I don't know if it was communicated to you. I had a question about minority business points.
Yeah, that piece is done by purchasing. Purchasing calculates that, and they actually apply it as a final score. We have no scoring that we do directly.
So will that be scored with the
purchasing department looks for the MBE and all of the qualifications. They request that to be submitted through the RFP process. So the respondents would provide all that information. And then I believe that the purchasing department will take a look at residency. They'll take a look at the composition of the company, whether or not it's a minority business or not.
Will that information hopefully be forwarded to us as a board and noted on their proposal somewhere?
Yes, that would be, you would have that at the time that the respondents get scored, and you get to review the scoring
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Miss Baptiste Perez?
I have a question for Mr. Pires. Where did you get an evaluation committee from? I don't recall, and maybe Madam Chair, you can clarify my memory. I don't recall us establishing an evaluation committee for the superintendent search, and that's available on page 3. So what is this evaluation committee that's referenced into the chart?
The evaluation committee is usually it's made up of staff members that review all of the respondents and score them according to the criteria. That's it's just a traditional evaluation committee. It's made up of people who, I believe at the time, I don't know if you guys actually established one. Or
we haven't.
I don't think you've established the positions or the people who would be in that criteria. That was just my effort to be representative of all the people that would make sense to be on there. But again, if you want to change that, that's your prerogative and you can do that.
Yeah, because in the older version of an RFP I had the chance to review, it was the Board of Education. We had a committee on the whole. And so maybe having that language, I'm not sure how I necessarily feel about that.
Well, I think what needs to be considered, and obviously you'll do this very carefully, is that when you have a committee of the whole, your meetings will be public and your selection discussions will be public and the vendors will know that. So ultimately you'll have the decision anyway. So it's up to you. If you want to go that route, that's fine. But to understand that there's consequences to doing that because people might not respond.
Madam Chair?
1 second. Miss Baptiste Perez, are you finished? She's on mute.
Yes, I'm done. Sorry.
No worries. Mr. Lombard?
Yeah, I would just like to speak to the option that I thought we were able to entertain as forming a search committee. If the search committee was able to review RFP proposals submitted by search firms as part of the search committee function, I would imagine we'd be permitted to meet confidentially and keep the information that the search firms give us confidential and not have to publicize that information we talked about earlier. Does that sound accurate? That anyone else?
Somewhat accurate.
Go ahead, Mr. Sakala.
Oh, I'm sorry. You looked at it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this sounds somewhat accurate with just with the way we constructed the committee. It was only for interviewing candidates, I believe, and anything else would have to be added at a vote of board members, if that sounds right.
I understand.
I'm not opposed to actually
adding that
to tonight's
Right.
agenda and
Right.
voting
Because
on it.
it seems like, I think the spirit of it was for the entire process.
Right.
And if it didn't specify that
Right.
specifically,
Right.
then maybe we need to.
Right, and we left ourselves open for change, and the way to do it would be right here, and we could add probably, I don't know what the flavor is right here, to add it to the agenda is probably be a minute or two discussion or whatever. So, okay, hold on. I'd like to make a motion to expand the use of the search committee to include the issuance of the review of RFPs for the permanent superintendent.
Are you adding to the agenda or are you making a
To
motion
add it to the agenda.
at the agenda?
Did I say that? I think I
No.
did.
Yeah, no.
Motion to add to the agenda to add to the duties of the, oh my God.
Sorry. Gather your thoughts.
I'll say.
Want to put the correct word there.
So I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda a discussion and possible action surrounding adding a function to the search committee of reviewing search firm proposals. Is that about right?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, so that'll be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Item.
We should do it right now, Tony.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Added to maybe,
You didn't say the order.
right, added to, we didn't put an order, so. I think it should be now while we still have Mr. Pirates here, so he doesn't have to hang out.
All right, are you all right with that, Mr. Pires?
So let me see if I got this. So you're going to vote on whether or not you're going to create or add or modify your search committee to include the review of respondents from the RFP.
Correct.
Right. So you will vote on that tonight, and then you will let me know if the language needs to be changed in the RFP, obviously. Now, do you want to replace the current selection committee, or do you want it with your selection committee, with the board selection committee?
So what I'm thinking is, I don't know if you want to have anyone else in the evaluation committee, but instead that could be the search committee. Place of evaluation committee in those two places.
Okay.
And where it says Board of Education, that would remain the same.
Right. So I'll just remove all those titles and insert the board's evaluation committee.
Right. We have to vote on
Correct,
it.
and Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, and just, and that would not affect the confidentiality of their proposals. They would still be remaining confidential, so that.
Provided that you meet in private and to discuss the actual proposals.
Correct.
All right, so we need a motion for this. You wanna,
Yeah, so I make a motion to modify the current search committee terms to include review of search firms garnered through the RFP.
Second.
all in favor? Bless you.
Aye.
Bless you.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, now we're gonna go back to the beginning. All right, thank you, Mr. Pires. I would like to make a motion to issue a national RFP for superintendent search consultant services. That's the initial one,
As discussed and amended.
as discussed and amended.
Second.
So one more question.
Yes.
Once we make these changes, should I submit this to legal for review again, or are you comfortable with it?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, wait, no.
Wait, hold on.
Are the only changes the removing evaluation committee, replacing it with board search committee?
Yes, you're gonna modify this. You're gonna change the RFP, the intent of the RFP. So when you replace the search committee that's there with your search committee, I just want to make sure that legally it's okay. I mean, just
I don't know, that's sir.
Yeah. Mr. Sokolovich.
Yeah. How long will it take for legal to have a turnaround on this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, Mr. Sokolovich. I can submit it to him tomorrow, and depending on how busy our city attorneys are, I'm at their mercy on that.
Right, because I think we already pretty clearly established that the parameters of the search committee, actually with the legal department, can be whatever we decide it is. But
And if that's the only change,
I'm pretty
the
comfortable.
rest of
with
the
issuing.
RP is staying the same,
Mm-hmm.
it should be okay.
I don't want to slow the process down unnecessarily if they're going to take a couple of weeks to get back to us, has been historically the case. I don't know what everybody else thinks about it.
Okay, so the motion is still on the floor. Yes.
Ms. Baptiste Perez, do you think this is something that should go to
Is it
legal?
proper? She's on mute. Ms. Baptiste Perez? There she goes.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't want to change the terms without fully going through legal. It's not helpful. If we have to wait for an undisclosed amount of time, we need to issue the RFP so we can get this search started. Yeah. I mean, if the only thing we're changing, and because it's been done in the past, is to have, well, it was a committee on the whole, and it would be our search committee, so it's a little bit different. It's always like my preference is to run it by legal first, just to make sure everything that we're expecting will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then to jump to the conclusion that because I want it that way, it should happen that way. So it would just be my suggestion to run it through legal, just to make sure that that one change, it may not feel significant to us at this moment, but it may have ramifications.
Okay, I'm gonna give the floor to Mr. Sokolovich, and then we'll make our decision.
Right.
Go ahead.
Quick question. Rather than, I hate to spend the money, but can we bounce it off our own legal team? It would be a lot quicker.
Well, the city attorneys doesn't charge us anything, so that's
So
the
they're-
free,
Yeah, no.
that's the free, however, we're at the mercy of time.
Right, yeah, so that's why I was suggesting possibly we could use our own attorney and incur the expense in the sake of expediency, because I'm pretty sure we could get a quicker turnaround from our attorney. I don't know how everybody feels about spending that money in these fiscal times, but it is an option. We also do need a permanent superintendent to be in place as well.
Correct. Mr. Lombard?
I know that the current timeline on the RFP was November 21st
Yeah.
for it
and
to be
that's-
released.
Yeah.
So how about we shoot for that with the city attorney? And if it doesn't happen, then we could speed it up with our own attorney.
I
I feel like we should take advantage of the free services.
agree. Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
everyone? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the main motion. Mr. Pyrus, we are gonna seek legal counsel for this, but we will go back to the main motion, which is to issue a national RFP for superintendent search consultant services. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Pyrus.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
You too.
Thank
The
you.
next one will be discussion and possible approval of educational specifications of the roof replacement project to Curio School at 300 Laurel Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We have a presenter. Just please state your name. Hello, sir. Press the button. At the bottom. Here you go.
Thank you. My name is Larry Shelley. I work in the school construction office. And Curiel project is for replacement of the roof. The roof that's there was installed in 1984. So it's 38 years old. It has numerous leaks and needs to be removed and replaced. In the ed spec, it includes all the work that we're going to do in the project, and approval of the ed spec is part of the requirement with the state's school construction office. Concurrently with approval of the ed spec, we have 3 resolutions going to the city council in the next 2 weeks. One for approval for the Board of Ed to apply for the state grant. 2, to name the Bridgeport School Building Committee as the project's building committee. 3, the hiring of a design firm to prepare preliminary plans and specs on the project. The budget for Curiel is 1.7 million, and the state reimbursement rate is 78.51%. Any questions?
The floor is open for questions.
This is going to be capital funds. The additional 22% will be funded by the city.
Pardon?
Capital funds?
Yes.
And the city will.
The city has approved the capital funds for their share.
No, no.
Again, it'll be done as what we call a non-priority project, which you can go to the state at any time during the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Benahan,
Yes. Hello, Larry. How are you doing? How you doing?
speak into your mic.
Hello. How much money are we talking about to fix the roof of Korea School?
We would do it over the summer, so most likely it won't be this summer. It'll be next summer.
Also,
We do it when no students are in the school.
yeah, I know. All right, thank you. But you don't have around how much money they're gonna cost?
The cost,
How much gonna
how
be?
much is it gonna cost?
The budget we're working with is 1.7 million.
Also, in the report, they say community use, community use. We don't use PTO. In the school, we use PAC.
Yeah.
So PTO is another organization, so I want to put that because they put a PTO, elementary school, we use PAC, and high school is PTSO. So I just want to be sure they know.
Yeah.
Correct that part, please. All right, thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Ms. Baptiste Perez. The screen changed.
I have a general question. This would be a request that would typically go through our facilities committee meeting and possibly even through finance first to see if we can afford to finance the budget and facilities to look into the actual need for this.
Again, I sent it to John Weldon, and he said he'd put it on the agenda for this meeting.
All right. Ms. Baptiste Perez, are you finished?
I don't know if it's my flu right now, but I'm just not comprehending. This is a facilities request to replace the roof on Curiel School. It's about how much money again?
1.7.
7 million.
1.7 million. And we're not sure because there hasn't been a facilities meeting.
Correct.
And this has not been discussed in finance to know where in the budget that's going to come out from. But that in 2 years, that would be about our fiscal cliff, where we will be extremely tight with funds.
The city share comes from the city. It's in the city's capital budget. And the rest of it is reimbursed from the state. So it's no Board of Ed money involved. And it's been approved by the city council capital budget.
So it's 1.7 million being paid by the city of Bridgeport.
No, the city's share is paid by the city of Bridgeport. The state pays 78.51%. So the city's share is 21.49%.
Gotcha. As long as it's not coming out of our very tight Board of Ed budget.
None of the capital project comes, the city share comes out of the cities.
And just another follow-up. When did city council approve this?
It
their
approved
minutes?
it. This one, Curiel, was approved in the 2022 budget. Nutrition is in the 5-year capital plan. They've both been approved.
Okay. I don't have any
And
further
I have to
questions.
get the minutes of those meetings to show the state that it's been approved when they apply for the grant.
Thank you. We have Miss Castillo.
Yes, you mentioned that this was not a pressing matter. Is there a timeline for this project? Do we have an idea of when it should begin and when it should end?
And we generally, the school building committee selects an architect. The architect's got to do preliminary plans and do a key to the roof plan. Then we apply for the straight grant with all the paperwork that's been approved. Like of this meeting, we'll have to get minutes to this meeting to show the state that the inspect was approved. Likewise, with the city's capital plan, we get the minutes of their meeting to show the state that the city's share has been budgeted.
Okay, I just want to express the concern about whether or not such a project would interrupt the school day.
Again, roof projects in schools, we only do over the summer.
Okay, that's
That way there's no students, if there are any special programs in the school, usually through the superintendent's office, they'll move them to another school.
Okay.
Like last year, we did Marin Roof, and they canceled their summer programs. Finished it as soon as school opened.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Benningham.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I agree with what Ms. Bautista say. That's the reason we have to have facility meeting.
Correct.
Because they need to, I know there was all the cities don't want to pay and blah, blah, blah. But as a facility, this is one of the schools, we want to be sure everything is okay. I have a good communication because like always say, great communication, great successful. If facility meeting, they don't have this and we don't bring it to the table, what kind of information we're going to bring it to the community, to the parent, to the students, what's going on, what happened in Korea, so we can have something. So I want to put that in for the record, and I agree with Ms. Bautista said, this is the reason we need to have facility meeting. Thank you.
You good? Okay. All right. So thank you for presenting. And I'll read back the motion again. There's a motion for approval of the educational specifications of the roof replacement project to Curiel School at 300 Laurel Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, you have your project. Thank you.
Okay, the next project is the roof replacement project at the Nutrition Center.
Yep.
Again, it's 39 years old, got numerous leaks, and it needs a replacement. At the Nutrition Center, since they're in the building throughout the year, we would do that probably early next fall.
So just give me 1 second. I just want to read it into the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Discussion and possible approval of higher rising. I'm sorry, I missed it. Discussion and possible approval of educational specifications for the roof replacement project to the Nutrition Center at 1300 Federal Street in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now you can continue. Sorry. Is that it?
Again, I didn't quite hear it.
I just read it into the meeting minutes, but I want you to continue on if there was anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah. Again, a straightforward roof replacement. It's on the two-story front building and the warehouse behind. It's about 26,000 square feet. The budget is 1.1 million. And on that Board of Ed facilities, central office, the reimbursement rate usually is cut in half on the project. So the city's share is higher on this project. But again, it has been like budgeted in this year's capital plan.
Thank you. I would open up the floor for any questions. Mr. Benahan?
Hey, Larry, this, when they replace the roof, it's not gonna be, part of when they cooking the food. I know when exactly they're gonna do it in the summer too. So it's not gonna be, I have a problem with the people are doing,
Yeah.
cooking or, doing inventory, something like that. It's not gonna be, problem with that?
Yeah. Again, I asked the Board of Ed facilities unit, is there any mechanical units you need replaced, etc.? And I'm waiting for an answer on that, but I have budgeted some money if there are rooftop units that need replacement, because it's an opportunity to get reimbursement on it.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. I will read the
I have a
motion.
question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Miss Baptiste Perez.
How old is the roof?
The roof is about 39 years old. It's well beyond its useful life. Usually when you do a roof, you get a 20-year bond unless you pay extra money for a 30-year, but the state won't reimburse for that extra 10 years on the roof bond.
Okay. Yeah. Is it, how large is the building or the roof?
The roof
I
is
feel like all the
26
roofs are $1 million plus.
The roof is 26,000 square feet.
26,000 square feet.
Yep.
And how large is the roof at Curiel School? Not to go back a little bit.
Again, we're going to use an ETPM roof, and you should be able to get 30 years out of it.
No, but how big is the roof at Curiel School?
It is, I think it's 42,000. That's
So,
why the budget's higher on Curiel.
so 42,000, 26,000. Curiel is 1.7, this one's 1.1. This roof is almost half the size, but almost still over $1 million. Is that the best we could do with the costs?
Again, that's the budget. We will bid the project out.
Okay.
Because with the grant, we only get one opportunity to get the grant. And generally, we have brought roof projects in under budget.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the educational specifications for the roof replacement project to the nutrition center. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, project approved. The next one is discussion and possible approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry, I thought it was the next one. Discussion and possible approval of High Horizon Magnet School field trip to the New England Aquarium and the Museum of Science in Boston, Massachusetts on December 5th, 2022. Who will be presenting? She is. Ms. Carbone.
Yep, I'm here along with my teacher, Timothy Meehan.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So this field trip package was submitted on October 18th, 2022 for a trip to New England Aquarium and Science Museum to be held tentatively on 12/5/22. Departure at 7 a.m., arrival back to the campus about 7 p.m. The trip is aligned to earth science and life science standards. The ratio is 1 to 7. So for every 7 students, there will be 1 adult. And we currently have 23 8th grade students and 25 7th grade students ready to attend.
Thank you. I will open up the floor for any comments or questions. I see none from the board.
Can you give a second, please?
Okay.
Please.
They're just reviewing the documents, so I want a second. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
No questions?
Everything looked like so far.
Okay. So there are no questions unless I'm missing any of our online staff.
Yeah, I just watch it now.
No? Okay. All right. So I'll make a motion to approve the High Horizon Magnet School field trip to New England Aquarium and the Museum of Science in Boston, Massachusetts on December 5th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Have a great trip.
Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great night.
You too. The next one is discussion and possible approval of the school improvement grant agreement for Bassick High School. Staff. Yep, you're all set.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We have 3 grant agreements for Bassick. We have a Partners in Educational Leadership, Milestones, and CES. They're for varying amounts. Partners for Educational Leadership is for $50,000, Milestones for $49,500, and CES for $50,000. And Dr. Rayola is online in case there are any follow-up questions about the grant agreements.
Are there any questions from the board? Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got some questions, and I would like to actually separate the motions into 2 parts because I got significant questions about Partners for Educational Leadership. Looking at this contract, it's like a 1-page document where all the other contracts I'm familiar with are like 5 or 6 pages. I cannot discern by reading the scope of work, actually what's being done. What services are we being provided? For example, let me read it into the record. Beginning in September 2022, continuing through June 22, staff from Partnership Leadership will provide professional learning and leadership coaching to Bassick High School leaders. Compensation for professional services, including planning, facilitating, coaching, and follow-up will be for $50,000. Adjustments and/or modifications will be made with the agreement of superintendent and the executive director of PEL. Service. Provide 2 coaches to BASIC leadership team for up to 20 days of ongoing support to calibrate administrators and teacher leaders around impactful instructional strategy to improve high-quality instruction across classrooms at the high school, and increase capacity of school administrators and teacher leaders to actively lead improvement in delivering high-quality instruction. And his estimated time is going to be 20 days for $50,000 at $2,500 a day. And I have several concerns about this contract. One, because it's not expansive enough in its description of what we're getting. 2, that the contract has already begun providing services without being approved by the board. And perhaps you can help it. Since some of the services started, Dr. Rayola, I'm assuming since this is being given to high-level staff in your building, that you've attended these sessions. What have the sessions involved? How long do they last? Where did they take place? Are they online, in person? And how have we benefited from them?
You have the floor.
Thank you. Evening, everyone. So, this is an extension of the district level work with the partners. To answer some of the mechanical questions that you asked, the partners come in person. It's either Isabel Stevens or one of the other consultants. Kathy Serino comes. I've attended 2 of the events, but the majority of the events have been attended by the instructional leadership team at BASIC, along with the assistant principals. The instructional leadership team is comprised of all of the leaders from each of the disciplines. So there's a math leader, English leader, so on and so forth. It's a team of, I think, 8 of us all together. And what we're trying to do is build capacity to help improve instruction at BASIC High School. So they've helped facilitate this dialogue, help facilitate this conversation, and we're shaping up to move in a better.
And okay, I got more questions. I'm not sure who this question should be directed to, but is this the only firm of its kind that can deliver this service, or are there other firms that could provide these services? Is this the reason I'm asking, is this a unique firm where we could skirt the bidding process, where we got to send things out for 3 bids and find out?
So I believe the decision was made to go ahead, and Dr. Rayola, please jump in. PL is already providing services.
Yeah.
Sorry, did it go up?
No, it's on. I think it's got to come forward.
Oh, sorry, I'm a low talker and I got to wear my mask at the same time. Sorry. I believe PL was chosen because they're already providing services throughout the district, but Dr. Rayola could give you some more details as well.
No, that's completely accurate. So we've been doing some district level work over the past year, maybe even a little bit more with the partners. And we've been working on high quality instruction, task analysis, and pretty much focusing on improving, what we do on a regular basis as for teaching and learning. So this was just a natural extension of the district level work, which is why the partners are, I would say, unique to help out with that. So, when you embark on this type of work, you want to have a thorough line from the school all the way up through district and continue with the partners like this, so there's no miscommunication with what the chief academic officer's mission is, along with BASIC's mission.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the program in and of itself. What I'm questioning is, what use is this board right now? Why are we approving this tonight when everybody already decided this is going to be done? Why has the board been cut out of this process? Not for the first time. This is not the first contract that's happened to. I'm not putting it squarely at the feet of BASIC High School or its leadership, but this time and time again, contracts come to us that are already in play, and we're expected to approve them retroactively for money that's already been spent and for things that haven't been reviewed. These are questions I could have asked at the formation of the RFP stage, if it requires an RFP, if it's not a specialized service that could skirt the RFP process. So. And in a city like Bridgeport, where a lot of things happen behind the scenes and undercover, this is not a good look, and this is not a way to operate a board or operate contracts. We need to have our contracts vetted. This is in the bylaws. It needs to go through the board. And I'm inclined, since this doesn't seem like a service that's required to be held, and it's not a unique service that other people could probably provide it, that we put a pause. It's a per item issue, correct?
So yes, this is written into the proposal for the SIG application for BASIC.
Right. I say we put it on a pause and maybe issue an RFP or whatever, because at some point we got to say enough is enough with these contracts bypassing the board and bypassing there's a reason these things come before the board, so we could scrutinize them and make sure the city is getting its best bang for the buck.
I just want to make sure
One second, your comment, go ahead.
Wanted to make sure I clarified. We wrote this organization into the grant, so the state is aware that this, holistic approach was going to be taken. I'll dovetail off of what was happening at the school district. I understand what you're saying. I just want to make sure I mention to you that this is something we did let the state know that we were marrying, and they tacitly approved that. Of course, if you would like us to go out to bid on this or any other contracts, we can certainly do that, but it was written into the grant.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not saying that there's something untoward going on, but these practices and behaviors will lend itself to, in the future, something slipping through the cracks while nobody's paying attention. And we're here to safeguard the public dollars, and we have not been good stewards over the last year with these contracts going forward without our approval, without even looking at them. And to just basically rubber stamp something that comes before us each and every time. I mean, I think we got to put this on hold while we look at it, at least this one going forward, because this has been a practice that's been going on, and it needs to actually stop.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
We're going to hear from Ms. Castillo.
Yeah, I have to say, I agree with Mr. Sokolovic. I'm looking at the contract here, and it says the district will be invoiced for half of the fee at the onset of work. I assume that the term "the district" here refers to our budget, right? The Board of Education budget.
The budget of this grant specifically.
Okay, so I mean, so is this saying that half of the fee is going to be paid for by the grant and the other half will be paid for out of the district, the Board of Education's budget?
No, everything related to that I'm bringing towards you with these contracts for BASIC are going to be paid out of BASIC's award.
So the grant award.
Yes, correct.
The whole 50,000.
Correct. And I'm just getting my notes, I believe.
Ms. Clark,
BASIC's total.
That's my understanding as well. This will all be paid from school improvement grant. That's been our conversation with the state.
Correct. BASIC's total grant application is for $400,000. This is the second year of their proposal in a 3-year cycle. This is the first year they have chosen to work with PEL, but they have received this award before.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead. Oh,
Christina, go ahead.
we'll do Ms. Baptiste Perez.
I do want to say that I agree with what Mr. Sokolovic is saying, but I've heard really good things regarding Partners for Educational Leadership in Teaching and Learning. And it is part of BASIC's grant. And so a part of me does understand and rationalize, like, stuff should come before the board earlier. But I've heard really great things about it, the work from partners on the educational level, district-wide, from Dr. Jenkins. And so I don't want to limit what could be helpful professional development for our staff. And professional development for staff can look a whole bunch of different ways, so I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what's going on, but it would be helpful, Dr. Rayola, if you could just explain whether you've seen, because I did get the email in the 5 sessions, have you seen some changes instructionally, or, I guess a return on the investment from the grant? Because I understand that it's going to be all completely from the grant.
Absolutely. Anytime, I mean, as you stated, the partners are, they're top notch in the state of Connecticut. They're top notch nationally in what they do. And anytime you're able to get that group to come in and facilitate conversations around teaching and learning with a group of motivated leaders, which is what I have within my instructional team, you're going to see a great return on investment. I've already seen great dividends paid on the conversations that we've had as a leadership team. I've seen, instruction improve. Just the comfortability and talking about what good teaching and learning is has been a huge step. Just to go back a little bit, this team that I have at BASIC now, they're new this year. Some of them were in place last year, but coming out of the pandemic, we realized that we really need to focus on what goes on daily within the classrooms around teaching and learning. And, the partners were the right group to help facilitate this dialogue. So I to answer your question directly, yes, I've seen a tremendous return on investment for this. I know it's a substantial amount of money, but the work that the partners do around this is it's great. Couple other things that I heard, if you don't mind, I'll just chime in quick. If the choice is made to go to RFP, I think that's a 6-month process. And again, if the way we were looking at this, it was more of an extension of what the district was already performing. So although you have a new contract in front of you, and I respect what you're saying, this is also kind of an extension of what's going on within the district. So if the choice is made not to approve this tonight, I would ask that the work might be able to continue underneath the district contract, which is already existing. I don't know what that contract looks like, but I would ask for that consideration because I do believe the work is that important.
Thank you. Dr. Raiola, I also have another question. For when the partners do come in and perform their professional development, is it a full day, like with the teachers, or can you just explain to us kind of like the day-to-day of how it works? For the 5 sessions, how it works, sorry.
Yeah, so they come in at it's the end of the day, and they're there for typically about a 2-hour block or so. And again, it's a facilitated conversation to help coach the teacher leaders in becoming better teacher leaders, so to speak.
Thank you.
We have Ms. Castillo's hand is up. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry,
go
Ms.
ahead, Ms.
Okay.
Castillo. No, go ahead, Ms. Castillo.
Go ahead, Ms. Castillo.
Okay. I just want to note that, of course, this should now read Alicia Perrin as the superintendent. Page 2 has Michael J. Testani listed, so that should be amended. And I still feel hesitant about such a vague, explanation of, how this is going to help, like what strategies are being used, which faculty and staff members are being chosen for this type of professional development. And the wording on the second page, the district will be invoiced for half of the fee at the onset of work, still bothers me. I mean, are we absolutely positive that this entire amount is going to be funded through a grant?
Yes, 100% out of BASIC's $400,000 award.
Okay. I hope that we'll be able to get an update, maybe a quarterly update from you all regarding how the professional development is going, what our teaching staff is learning, and how they're applying, this learning into the classroom. I really would like to, if this passes, I would like for maybe a quarterly update on how this is going.
And Ms.
Yes,
Castillo,
yes.
once the grant is approved, the state does ask for us to provide quarterly updates to them. And so we could certainly pass that along or come and do a presentation if that's what the board would like to see.
Yes, we would love that.
So I understand, is this 20 days or is it for the
20 sessions.
20 sessions?
20 sessions,
20
yes. The 2-hour blocks.
But it says 20 days, which I guess I misunderstood.
Yeah.
20 sessions, okay.
It's sessions, and we can get that updated. And it was mentioned during the contracts committee that it was observed these contracts came well in advance. We've been requesting to go onto committee. When we finally got there, of course, there needs to be a change for the superintendent, and that was going to be noted once this was approved. If approved,
Mr.
excuse me.
Benahan?
Yes. First of all, I have to say thank you, Rayola, for your amazing job you're always doing, Basic. And I appreciate that. But I have 3 questions. I don't know, Dr. Rayola or Ms. Clark, you can answer me the questions. I'm going to let you know, you can, both of you can answer for me. Does the state watch over each part of the dispensing in the grant? That's one. And the other one, is there a person from the state that watch over the implementation of this grant? My last one is, there's a person that was assigned to watch over the grant and meet with administrators through, they have already begun this meeting?
So you're talking about the state contact?
Mm.
Yes. So that person is immensely involved in what's going on. Our daily logs meeting at BASIC, they're meeting quarterly with superintendent and I to go over just the drawdown of money and how it's being utilized. And that is also coming up in quarterly reports back to the state, which is shared with our contact, and that's shared up to the leadership, the chief academic officer, et cetera, at the state level. So they are aware what's going on with these monies. It's a big deal. We get a decent amount of it, and they want to know exactly what's happening. And we do have a new state contact, and she is definitely very committed to Bridgeport. She has met with all of these SIG grant principals for hours to help them sort of really explore their mind in terms of what they are going to put into their proposals, how that's going to dovetail into what is going to make, really improvements at their school. That's what this grant is for. And she's coming back and meeting with them, calling them, emailing them. She's very involved. And we really know that what we're putting into these proposals, the state is comfortable with, and we're looking to see, excellence at the end of that.
Exactly who's that person?
Margaret Hughes is our new contact.
I'd like to hear from Dr. Rayola about my question, if you have something to say.
Just to elaborate on what Ms. Clark said, the state is they've been a partner in this. I think that's the best way to summarize what they've been doing. Ms. Hughes has been side by side to help create the grant. She understands what's going on. I'm talking to her on a weekly basis. She does about me, and we're communicating, quite intimately on the progress and what's going on. State is well versed in what's occurring at BASIC, and they're fully supportive of what we're doing as well.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. No more question, Ms. Brown.
Thank you. Mr. Sakalovic?
Just one more. Just want to check if my math is right and ask, okay. So
Speaking to your mic.
$2,500 a day, 2 consultants, that's $1,250 a piece. For 2 hours, that's $625 an hour. Is that standard consulting fees?
It varies depending on the type of work they're providing.
It
can be. It can be. Sorry, it can be.
Any other questions?
No, but I would like a motion just on this one, because I'm probably got different votes for this one and the next 2.
Okay. So I make a motion for the approval of the improvement grant agreements for BASIC High School. That is the one.
With the partners for educational leadership.
With the partners of educational leadership.
Second.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? Hearing none. What was that? That was one abstention? One.
No abstention.
I mean, no abstentions.
I think I'm the only no vote.
Okay, Mrs. Sakalovic is the only no vote. Motion passes.
Thank you.
And then the second part of it is possible approval of the improvement grant agreements for Bassett High School, which is just the general one.
Sorry, say that again, please.
Approval of the improvement of agreement grants for Bassett High School. So the first part of it. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, discussion?
That's still
Discussion.
Yeah, I'm breaking it down. This is how I like to see contracts. This is how I like to, I know what's happening in this contract. I know what we're getting. I know our deliverables. Just like to point out these certified professional psychologists, and like they're being paid, where do you see $300 an hour? Half what our consultants are being paid.
Anyone else for discussion? This is for the Milestones Behavior Services, correct? Anyone else online?
No. Can you repeat that, Mr. Johnson, please?
Make sure I read it correct.
Yeah, please. Put the microphone on, please.
All right, yeah, we got senior director, vice president, $300 per hour, BCAB at $150 an hour. And then total contract cost of about $50,000. See, they break down where all this money is going in a very succinct, understandable progression that I can understand. I could feel comfortable that this money is being well spent as opposed to the prior contract where I could not. This is an example of what I would like to see and how I would like to go forward, approving contracts most desirably before they're in effect.
So you exactly want to know if the money will be spent exactly the way it's supposed to be as the
We could always,
contract of everything saying here.
we could always get updates on the contracts, but I have a lot less concerns about this one. I just wanted to point out that this is an exemplary example of what a contract should look like that comes before us. And with the same thing that Ms. Castillo mentioned too, is also got Superintendent Testani that needs to be changed out for this parent. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I agree.
Okay,
This should be more detailed.
this is a good one. I agree too. Anyone online? No? All right.
I just want to,
Okay,
sorry.
Ms. Castillo?
This is also being, the funding for this is also by grant, correct?
Correct. Everything for Bassett today is out of their school improvement grant.
Okay, I'm just speaking that into the record. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other comments or concerns, yes,
That's
Mr. Benningham?
So I want to clarify because I want to be clear. So Mr. Joe and Ms. Lava, you want more clarify about the program?
In the future, for
In the
future
future.
contracts.
Okay, I just want to clarify. Okay, I'm agree with that. Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, so we are back at it again, discussion and possible improvement grant agreements for Bassett High School, and this is the Milestone Behavior Services. Is there a second?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Is there a third or is it?
And there is another one. Discussion and approval of extended school hour grant agreements for Classical Studies Magnet Academy.
Correct. And so we have 2 agreements.
Yep.
Sorry.
Wait, there's one more?
There should be,
Oops, I'm sorry. Go ahead for your
My-
third one.
I didn't, were you looping the CE
Okay.
with the milestones? I wasn't sure if you were doing that. That's what Joe probably wants to know. Did you loop milestones and CES
So,
together?
no, we separated them. So we did the approval of the first one, and then we just did the approval of the second.
So 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
you're off it.
Okay.
But I see Dr. Rayola's hand.
He had the same question.
that was my question. All 3
Oh, yeah, no,
contracts
yeah.
have been approved.
Yes,
And
yes, both of them have been
I wanna thank you for
approved.
that.
There's
And-
3?
And
Yeah.
there's-
So there's,
Oh, see, okay. Go ahead.
So when you
Nadir, I
broke-
just,
when you broke the motion, you only broke PEL
For
for
2.
separate. And then we have milestones and CES
Yes.
together. Okay.
and Ms. Clark, I just think, I
No.
think we should,
I'm sorry, I did not realize that milestones and CES was together in the last.
Yes.
motion.
I didn't either. Okay, so I'm gonna redo the motion. Sorry, guys. The motion is this discussion, approval of school improvement grant agreements for Bassick High School's Milestones in CES grant. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, both of them all three have been approved.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. You're all set.
Dr.
Oh,
Rivera
Dr.
have-
Ayola, okay.
One more, Ms. Clark, I
I
think we
already
should
know.
check with the partners,
I will.
check with the partners about what one session entails.
Yep.
I heard Mr. Sokolovic's concern, and I just want to confirm that what we represented today is true. And, the 2-hour session is what it is. So,
Yep.
I'll loop around to Jerry and get back to you guys about what the hourly rates are. So there's no questions around that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the support.
Thank you, Dr. Royola. Thank you, Ms. Clark,
All right.
for that part.
Now to classical studies. Discussion and possible approval of extended school hour grant agreements for classical studies Magnet Academy.
Yes, correct. So we have 2 agreements on for Classical's extended school hours grants. They have one for $110,007 for Carver Foundation, and they have one for $30,000 for Access Educational Services. And we do have Principal Davis here just to give some background and answer any follow-up questions.
Good evening, everyone. The 2 contracts that we're looking to get approved are contracts that we have had in place, community-based partnerships that go along with this grant, this extended school hours grant that we receive. Back in 2018, we started partnering with the Carver Foundation. Classical Studies had an extended school day model that was built into our school day. The memorandum of understanding for that dissolved, and we were looking for an option so that we could provide our families with an extended school day option. And that's where we began our partnership with the Carver Foundation. The Carver Foundation, we take the extended school hours money and they work with us to actually fundraise beyond that money so that we can have a program that is strong and that offers a lot of different opportunities for our students. We offer an hour of homework and academic support and then an hour of enrichment activities. And we run that program from October to May, Monday through Thursday. And that is our partnership with Carver. The Access Educational Partnership, that is a community-based organization that does STEM and Lego engineering. We've been partnering with them for many years and have expanded on our programs throughout the years with them. And that offers a 2-day-a-week program through our extended school day program that is offered to our 2nd graders, and they work with those students 2 days a week for the length of the program. And we have a culminating event at the end of the year, at the end of the program, where students get to showcase what they've learned in their projects that they've worked on throughout the school year.
Thank you. I'll open up the floor for any questions, comments, concerns. Seeing none from the board or online, I'll read the motion into the minutes. Approval of extended hour agreement for classical studies magnet school for, sorry, I have to bring it back up, for Access for Educational Services. And second, Carver Foundation. Sorry, I couldn't find it. For Carver Foundation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Our next one is discussion and possible action on contract terms and conditions for employment agreement with Alicia N. Perrin as interim superintendent of schools. This item qualifies for executive session, but we have our attorney with us. Turn your mic on.
Yes, good evening, Attorney Floyd Dugas, and yes, it would qualify for executive session. It's a personnel matter.
All right. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me,
Aye.
you gotta state who's going in and.
Oh, yes. The entire board and Attorney Floyd Dugas.
To discuss.
Oh, yes, and
To
then,
discuss.
yes, to discuss the contract for interim superintendent Alicia Perrin, contract terms and conditions. And we will call in our board members that are not present right now. All in
Well,
favor?
Will Miss Perrin be joining the conversation as well?
No.
No.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We'll move into executive session. Yep. And we're back. I'm gonna turn it over to, with all members present from the previous meeting, Mr. Dugas, you have the floor.
Yes, I think where we're down to is you were going to entertain a motion to approve the contract as presented with Ms. Perrin with two changes, one of which was the evaluation date moved from January to April, and the vacation carryover changed to 5 days with no payout.
Yes. All right. I would like to make a motion to move to approve contracts for interim superintendent as presented with the following changes to vacation, limited to 5 days, carry over with no payout, with an evaluation date of April 1st.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. I will entertain a motion.
Did we cover the MOU?
That's next. All right, and then discussion and possible action on MOU with BCAS regarding Alicia and Perrin.
Yes, Ms. Perrin, I don't know if you've talked to BCAS. I have not had an opportunity. So I would suggest that subject to BCAS agreeing to the agreement that you approved the MOA, and the MOA basically guarantees that Ms. Perrin will return at the end of the interim superintendency, would return to her current job with the same, on the salary scale at the same step and so forth.
All right, I make a motion to make a motion for the MOU with BCAS regarding Alicia and Perrin with as discussed.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries.
Okay.
I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Santos, for everything. I appreciate that. Great job tonight.